Hello everyone and welcome back to another AFK journey video. In this video we're going to be going over Hodgkin and his abilities because he has just gone live like 10 minutes ago on the Vietnam server for raid up recruitment, and he should be coming to global server in 2 or 3 days from right now. Okay, let's get right into it. So his characteristics: he's an S level hero, Graveborn faction, warrior class, physical damage dealer with a range of 1. Looking at his ultimate ability, Cannon Fire. Hodgkin fires a cannon at each enemy hero in sequence, dealing 320 up to 360% damage to the hit enemy and their adjacent enemies. Allies adjacent to the hit enemy will also take 100% attack damage, which means you're going to have collateral damage. If your allies are up in melee range, you're also potentially going to hit them with this, but it is a lower multiplier, not really like going to be high enough to be killing them. If any unit is hit by the cannon more than twice, the damage from subsequent hits is reduced to 20%. Hodgkin can fire at least 5 cannons with this skill. So the interesting thing first to note is that he can fire at least 5 cannons, which means if the opponent has like maybe only 2 enemy heroes left on the battlefield, it will still fire 5 times and it will fire back and forth between the two of them. The other interesting thing is that after hitting the same enemy twice, whether it be from the splash damage of like hitting adjacent enemies or whether it's the targeted damage, the further hits onto that target will only deal 20% of their actual normal amount of damage. So like 360% is your attack multiplier, 20% of that is down to 72% attack multiplier, which is hardly anything. So after basically 2 hits of this maximum damage, the further attacks are hardly going to contribute much damage. That is something important. And with ultimate power, like 5 ultimate power, he could get up to 360 plus 150%, which is up to 510% attack multiplier, and because it can be triggered 2 times on the same enemy before being reduced in the damage output, that is over 1000% attack multiplier in those 2 hits. And the thing is, if the enemies are grouped up or basically just have multiple enemies who are in adjacent tiles to other enemies, they're gonna get this splash damage triggered. And I think in a lot of PvP fights there will be a lot of splash damage from this ability, not just on your actual target itself. And so the damage output of this is pretty high. That's definitely something we can see. It begins with 0 initial energy, so you have to charge up to full, and it has a 0-second cooldown like most ultimates. As soon as you get the energy, you're able to cast it. So overall, high damage definitely from this ability. A little bit strange that you could also damage your own allies, but maybe there's something that will take advantage of this in the rest of his kit, and there's no debuffs as of right now from his ultimate ability. Okay, his first skill, Phantom Respite. And we'll just jump right to the level 4 unlock. So Hodgkin enters an ethereal state for 8 plus up to a bonus 2.5 seconds with 5 skill power for the maximum V plus charms. So 10.5 seconds in total potentially from this, during which he is immune to physical damage and recovers up to 100% attack multiplier plus 10% HP per second, depending on how much skill power you have. So this can go up to 150% attack multiplier, healing of HP per second, and it can go up to 10.5 second ethereal state. So definitely, like, this is a good ability. However, the problem is only being immune to physical damage, and also there's another passive effect. When Hodgkin casts Cannon Fire, he immediately enters ethereal state for 4 seconds. So the uptime of this ethereal state is going to be really high, because he'll cast his ultimate ability. That's going to be giving him 4 seconds of this. Then he will cast Phantom Respite on top of that. With skill power, it will go up to 10.5 seconds. That's 14.5 seconds in total. And then if you have a bit of haste on him, his cooldown on this ability is going to go down to 14 seconds anyway. So he can almost permanently be in this state. However, only being immune to physical damage. So this is going to make him actually a really good counter option into enemy teams who have a lot of physical damage, like Lenya Mauler teams, for example. Or even like Shakir Mauler teams if they're running, who have limited supplies of magical damage. Hodgkin is going to be like a hard counter. He can like permanently have this ethereal state uptime, in my opinion. I think it would be quite easy for him to do this. And he's also going to have this massive healing from that. Okay, this is really interesting. So the thing was, though, people wanted him to be a counter to enemy Talines or to enemies who had magical damage. And the thing is, there's a lot of powerful heroes in the game and meta right now who are magical based damage dealers. But definitely there's a lot of physical sources as well. And now to counter Hodgkin, you're going to need to have like a combination of magical and physical damage sources on your team. Otherwise, he's just going to basically could potentially solo your team. Really interesting. I think probably you'll want to give him skill power in order to get the maximum uptime of the ethereal state. Okay, moving on to Rending Cleave. So Rending Cleave, Hodgkin deals 200 or up to 300% attack multiplier damage to enemies within a 2-tile arc and steals up to 100 energy from them. And again, yeah, I think skill power is going to be the way to go, because if you could get 5 skill power from charms, this will go up to a 450% attack multiplier in this 2-tile arc, and it will steal energy up to 125, 100 plus 25. Which is a lot. Like, stealing that much energy from opponents, even if it's just one enemy target, is going to allow him to cast his ultimate more quickly, entering his ethereal state and also dealing his massive damage. So his kit has a lot of synergy. Definitely he's looking like a PvP hero. I think there's no question about that, especially because like repetitive hits on the same target are going to be reduced in their damage amount. Like I don't think he will have any use in Dream Realm, but for PvP he's looking really solid so far. Hero focus, so increase Hodgkin's attack by 15% during battle, and attack will be increased by a further 10% during his ethereal state. And like we mentioned, I think his whole game plan will be try to maximize the uptime of ethereal state with maximum 5 skill power and good enough haste on him to have this on a lower enough cooldown, and then the 4 seconds ethereal state from cannon fire. He's going to be in it for a long time. Okay, now let's move on to Ardent Believer's Mythic Plus ability, which is going to be, as for any hero, this is like a really key unlock. Hodgkin summons 2 Dead Tide Warriors, affected by Voidbound magic around him when a battle begins, each inheriting 60% of his health and 100% of his other stats. Okay, so first of all, it says summons, which means that these are going to, I believe, be counted as summoned team members. It's not going to be like Freastor's Illusion, who is counted as a non-summoned hero and can get the benefits of like Shakir's Wolf Will and things like that. So that's the first thing to mention, I'm pretty sure. And also, the stat distribution is going to be like Freastor's Summoned Illusion, not the main illusion for the beginning of the match, the summoned one from his plus 15 exclusive equipment when the main illusion dies, because it will inherit 60% of the health of Hodgkin, 100% of his other stats. So it will have good enough damage output, but the tankiness will be lower. And can only launch normal attacks. This is a problem. So it's not like... It's not comparable to Freastor's Illusion, which can use all of his abilities. Hodgkin the summons can only use normal attacks, so definitely that's a lot weaker, but you're getting 2 of them, right? When a unit affected by Voidbound magic is defeated, they trigger an explosion that deals damage equal to 120% plus an extra 10% of the defeated unit's maximum health. To adjacent enemies, this extra damage cannot exceed 200% attack multiplier of Hodgkin's attack. Okay, so 10% of the defeated unit's maximum health to adjacent enemies. Again, it's about the adjacent enemy concept, and because they can only use normal attacks and they're going to have a range of 1, I'm pretty sure, they're going to be up in the enemy's face, and they're probably going to trigger this, and you're going to get a pretty high explosion damage from this. Like, if they have 60% of his health, then 10% of that is like 6% of Hodgkin's health, and that is going to be the amount of damage that you will deal along with the 120% attack multiplier to these enemies. And I think it will probably be below the 200% attack multiplier of Hodgkin's attack, the 6% of his health. But let's keep reading. And the targeted enemies also lose 200 energy. That is the interesting point. When you can deny enemies energy, that is much more valuable and like exciting to me than just the damage alone. But the damage alone here is not bad either. It's just like a plus on top of the fact that the summons are going to be dealing damage too. And you can increase explosion damage up to 140% and 160% at level 4. Level 3, this is a big unlock. Applies Voidbound magic to any unit hit by cannon fire that does not already have it. The energy loss from this kind of explosion is reduced to 70%. Okay, so as soon as you cast cannon fire, and now this is where there's advantage of actually hitting your own allies with this. When you cast cannon fire, then the Voidbound magic is going to be applied to any enemy unit hit. and you're going to be guaranteed pretty much to hit every single one of the enemy units because you're going to fire 5 cannons, and then you could even hit your own allies as well and apply everyone with Voidbind magic. And the energy loss from this explosion is going to be lower, like rather than 200 lost energy, 70% of that, which is 140 lost energy, but that's still a lot. And so basically whenever one of the enemies dies or your own heroes die, all adjacent enemies are going to take this explosion damage and also lose energy equal to 140. And like, so basically he's turning all of his team potentially, but definitely all of the enemy team into explosion on death that will also drain some energy. Really interesting. Overall, like, I mean, his kit seems pretty amazing. For PvP, honestly, he's going to be a top tier hero. The question is he going to be better than Tassi? Like, for people who can only go for one S level hero this season or about swap tickets and stuff. Okay, finally, Enhanced Force. Hodgkin reduces the physical defense of enemies hit by the cannon by 15% up to 2 stacks for 10 seconds. Okay, hit by the cannon. So the cannon is, I guess, assuming the cannon fire. So this is the final ability to round everything off, and it synergizes perfectly. Like, you are going to get up to 30% physical defense shred, and because you're going to hit enemies probably at least one time with this ability, you're going to guarantee at least a 15% defense shred and up to potentially 30%. And then all of his damage sources are going to be physical damage based, and so they're all going to be amplified in damage thanks to this Supreme Plus ability. So definitely what is looking like for Hodgkin, he is going to be a PvP hero to counter enemy teams who have predominantly physical based damage dealers because of his ethereal state, and then it is also going to be used along with allies who are mainly physical damage based because he has physical defense shreds in his kit. But really, he can work with pretty much any team. Even if it is a magical damage based team, this defense shred is also going to benefit his own damage, which is going to be pretty high. So for him, he's going to be wanted to run usually with the support. I'm thinking probably Damien would be best for him. Again, it will give him the healing and the haste buff. That haste buff might be exactly how much he needs to like have 100% uptime of the Phantom Respite. Of course, he would also be good with a hero like Shakir, for example, and he's good with allies who are going to be melee oriented because they're going to be up close and next to enemies, and so they're going to be hit by the cannon fire attack. Like your heroes who are more backline, they're not going to be really hit by the cannon fire because you can only hit your own allies when they're going to be adjacent to the enemies you're targeting with the cannons, and you want your allies to be hit, not like, I guess not too much, but you do want to get them hit to apply the Voidbound magic. So overall, I think honestly he is going to be a top tier PvP hero. Yeah, there's no he's going to be a top tier PvP hero, but there's no use for Dream Realm, unfortunately, because I know his summons are going to provide a little bit of additional damage. He has physical defense shred potentially. But the thing is, we have such optimized Dream Realm teams, and he just doesn't provide enough for a Dream Realm damage dealer. And like that would basically be his role as a pure damage dealer based hero. There's no HP per second damage, there's no true damage in his kit, and so even with the 2 summons, it's just not going to be enough, in my opinion, because they're not going to power up like the Wolf Will of Shakira to get like a higher attack buff for your team or anything like that. So I think he would be fine in Dream Realm if you don't have other heroes built, but he's not going to be top tier, in my opinion. That's my thought. But overall, I think he is going to be a very meta PvP hero, probably an S plus meta PvP hero. Based on his kit, I think he's going to be pretty insane. And this is crazy because we just had Tassi, who was such a top tier PvP hero as well, and we're also going to be getting Sonya later on in the season, who a lot of people are expecting going to be top tier in PvP as well. So it is going to be a difficult time if you want to recruit for all of these heroes. We'll have to wait and see, and I'll try to do testing on as soon as he comes live on the global server, so you guys can look forward to that. But let me know what your thoughts of Hodgkin are in the comment section down below. But anyway guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching. That's gonna be it for this one. I'll hope to see you guys in the next video, and until then, everyone, peace out for now.